Do you know about the Navnirman Andolan, Gujarat, 1973-74? Okay, you would not know, but Prime Minister Narendra Modi, he must know because he was a part of it. A student strike against a fee hike in hostel food became such a massive agitation against corruption across Gujarat that in just 3 months it led to the fall of Congress CM Chimanbhai Patel and his government. In 1975 too, during the emergency, as a student and as an RSS Pracharak, Modi organized protests in Gujarat, spending months underground. At the same time in Delhi, his late colleague Arun Jaitley, then a firebrand ABVP leader and DU Students' Union president, was jailed for leading anti-emergency protests. Across India, thousands of students, many inspired by Jayaprakash Narayan, were on the streets, among them young Nitish Kumar, young Lalu Yadav and young Mulayam Singh, all youth leaders then. So, what's my point? The point is that for students to protest, agitate, express dissent against what they see to be wrong is in a student's DNA. When they are young, idealistic, sensitive, aware of what's going on around them and have a strong view about it, when they are full of energy and unafraid, then of course they will protest. In fact, if something questionable was taking place in the country and I was Vice Chancellor of a university and my students stayed silent, I would be worried, because it's the job of our universities to produce responsible citizens. And so, when faced with wrongdoing, they must protest. Peacefully, it's their right, it's their duty. And so, it's no surprise that Delhi's Jamia Millia Islamia, which was the hub of protests against the Citizenship Amendment Act, has been ranked number 1 among central universities by the Ministry of Education. And no surprise either that JNU and Aligarh Muslim University, both also regularly in the news for student protests, are at number 3 and number 4 on this list. Measured on parameters such as student diversity, quality of faculty, student-teacher ratio, campus infrastructure, quality of research, job placement, these universities have scored high in all of these. And yet, a few months ago, this is what we saw in Jamia. Police assaulting students in the university library. Similar police violence was seen in Aligarh Muslim University too. And this is what we saw in JNU, masked attackers targeting students and property while the police did nothing. Students from Jamia and JNU are currently under arrest under laws meant for terrorists. Some have been charged with sedition, some accused of conspiracy and sparking the violence in Northeast Delhi in February this year. Former Jamia Vice Chancellor Najib Jung, speaking to the Quint, defends Jamia's student protests. He says, Jamia produces educated, responsible citizens of India, not mechanical robots. And so, if they want to bring something to the government's notice, they will.
The controversy erupted because of the students' sensitivity to the passing of the CAA, of the NRC, or the NPR. There is nothing wrong with the young, vibrant students thinking about social issues, about political issues, and then demonstrating to make their feelings open to people.
To those who give Jamia the tag of anti-national, Najib Jung points out that 30 Jamia students made it to the IAS this year, and that Mahatma Gandhi pushed for the founding of Jamia in 1920, the first nationalist college set up without British funding, after which came colleges like the Gujarat, Bihar, Maharashtra and Kashi Vidyapeeths and the Bengal National University. And students at each of these campuses took part in every major freedom movement. In fact, the role of students from colleges across India in the freedom struggle are well documented. Ferguson College, Pune, Presidency College, Vidyasagar College, Bethune Women's College in Bengal, Punjab University, Lahore, Madras Christian College, Ravenshaw College in Orissa, Osmania University, Hyderabad, Central College and Maharajas College, Karnataka, Ramjas College in Delhi, whose students hid Chandrasekhar Azad in their hostel for several months so that he could evade the police, Delhi's Hindu College, and St. Stephen's College. It was C.F. Andrews, who taught English at St. Stephen's College, who was sent by Gopal Krishna Gokhale to South Africa in 1914 to ask Gandhi to return to India. ये जो इंडिया है ना, whether it was 100 years ago in our freedom struggle, or 45 years ago during the emergency, or just months ago during the anti-CAA NRC protests, whether it was Modi and Arun Jaitley then, or Safura Zargar and Miran Haider today, students have been India's conscience keepers, and they must continue to do that. Dissent is not dangerous, it is constructive. Peaceful protest is not sedition, it is badly needed in a democracy. Universities that produce students who speak their minds, we cannot label them as anti-national. Did 19-year-old Amulya Leona deserve 110 days in jail for shouting Pakistan Zindabad? Her call for kinship among South Asian countries was idealistic, not seditious. Did Rohit Vemula deserve to be targeted for being an active Ambedkarite in Hyderabad University? Should it have cost him his life? Surely not. The less we listen to our students, the more we will lose our way as a nation.